Good evening, everyone, live from New York. It's Tuesday night. It's the primary in New York State for a plethora of different races, both federal and statewide. Um, and we have Julie coming to us live from the great city of Boston. She's not here with us in New York. She's doing really fun stuff with her kiddo. But the polls closed in New York about 19 minutes ago. We're looking at the live returns here. Across the state, and there's some surprises, some not surprises, and we're going to talk about them. First of all, Julie, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. I think we should just delve right into it. There are some, well, first we should say that Congressman Dan Goldman in Manhattan/Brooklyn, a very well-known fixture if you watch cable news from all over the country, he has now lost his election to Brad Lander. Brad Lander, for people who don't know, ran against Zohran Mamdani for mayor, among other people, endorsed Mamdani, cross-endorsed him in New York. You're allowed to do because New York has ranked choice voting, and wanted very much to be in Mamdani's administration. Mamdani had other plans for him, wanted him to primary Dan Goldman, and that is in fact what just happened, and Dan Goldman will not be returning to the House next year. I am sorry about that because I think Dan Goldman actually was a very good congressman.
Yep.
Huge role that he played during Donald Trump's impeachment as the attorney for the impeachment committee before he went to Congress, rode to Congress on the back of that. Apparently that's not good enough for the Democratic Party in New York anymore. So there you go. That is that. There are a few other races going on right now where Zohran Mamdani is trying to very much flex his muscle. One is in your district, Michelle, the 13th district, where at the moment Adriano Espaillat is down by just about a point and a half. To Daraliza Avila Chevalier. Quite frankly, if she wins, this will be a mitigated disaster. This is a woman who called Joe Biden a rapist, trashed Kamala Harris during the presidential campaign, said that, what else did she say? That interracial marriage is awful.
She like some very disparaging comments about interracial marriage. I mean, she said she wanted to wipe her dirty hands on the American flag. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And when these comments came to light, Zohran Mamdani said, well, she's noticed them and she's learned from them. And she said she was sorry. I'm sorry. She's in her 30s. She said this just a few years ago. It's not like she said this when she was a child or a teenager. And please, she did not learn from this. She just was caught. And so therefore, because she's in the middle of a campaign, she had to say so. I mean, the whole thing is so batshit that I cannot, like, guys, this is my district. And I'm telling you right now, I cannot believe what I'm looking at. I cannot believe what I'm looking at. I am horrified. Horrified.
Well, assuming she wins, and we don't know whether she's going to
win. Well, 52% of the votes are in right now, and she's at 48.1%, and he's at 46.9%.
Right. We don't know where these votes are coming from, and I, more importantly, don't know what the expected vote is in the Bronx, which is where his strong bases versus hers, which seems to be Manhattan. But it is disappointing that Zohran Mamdani has been carting her all over the place. There's truly no reason for
in government vehicles today.
In government vehicles, there's truly no reason as to why he's doing this, other than, of course, she was celebrating after October 7th, literally on October 8th, celebrating at a rally about this horrible attack against Jews in Israel, and I guess Zohran Mamdani likes that in a congresswoman. And then there is my district, Michelle, which is District 12, and there it looks like Michael Lasher, who is a longtime, well-known
He's
Democrat.
A fixture in West Side politics for sure. Yeah.
This is where Caroline Kennedy's son, Jack Schlossberg, was running for Congress as well. This is where George Conway is running, for people who are looking at names that are more well known. And it looks like, with about 64% of the vote in, looks like Michael Asher is leading Alex Boris by about 5 points here.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Boris has taken a lot of incoming from Peter Thiel and Palantir, where he used to work. After he said he wanted to regulate AI, they came after him. And so you have that. What's interesting about that is that Jack Schlossberg, who at one point was leading, is only has about a little over 10, just a little under 11% of the vote in, which I think is fascinating. So that is interesting. The other place where Zohran Mamdani is trying to really flex his muscle is in the 7th congressional district, where his preferred candidate Valdez is beating Antonio Reynoso, who was endorsed.
They've called it. It looks like, yeah.
Well, yeah, he's winning by about 12 points here. She's winning by about 12 points here, so they've called it for her. So congratulations to Zohran Mamdani on that one too. This is a problem for Hakeem Jeffries, friends. I just want to be very clear about that, because none of these people have promised to support him for speaker. And this is going to expand the squad tremendously. It is going to transform the Democratic caucus. And so we are looking at, if this is a close House majority next year, we are looking at potentially the same thing that Republicans were going through, which is vote after vote after vote, round after round after round. And we don't know who the next speaker is going to be. It is not going to be the squad. It is not going to be somebody from the squad. But it very well may not be Hakeem Jeffries after this. You have people from his own home state, from his own city, who will not commit to vote for him, and I don't think will vote for him. And in fact, he has taken this very, very personally. He has campaigned, at least in your district, quite a bit, and thrown everything he can at the incumbent congressman in your district. And we'll see what's going to happen here. It looks like Chevalier has taken a bit of a bigger lead here with 62% of the vote in. She is leading by about 1.4, about a little less than 1.5 points. That's what's going on at the moment, but we'll see what happens. Just so you know, Michelle, only about less than 400 votes separate the two. And again, we don't know what part of this is in. It looks like in the Bronx, about 61% he's gotten about 61% of the vote in the Bronx. She has about 51% of the vote in Manhattan. Again, it's hard to say how many votes are left. It looks like there are about 25,000 votes left to be counted in Manhattan. And it looks like there are about 3,600 votes left to be counted in the Bronx. That is not good news for Espaillat. So we will see what happens there. But if you're looking at the fact that Espaillat has his base is in the Bronx and hers is in Manhattan, it looks like this is going to be a good night for her as well, because she's leading in Manhattan by about 6 points now, whereas he's leading by about 28 points in the Bronx. 28,000, yes, 28 points in the Bronx. So based on that, we will know very quickly what is happening. And it looks like this is probably not going to be a good night for him. Friends, this is the transformation of the Democratic Party here. And I have been very harsh on Hakeem Jeffries and the fact that he's not fighting hard enough. I have been very harsh on Chuck Schumer repeatedly, that he's not fighting hard enough. And I don't think our incumbents are fighting hard enough overall. But I also don't want to be in a situation here that Republicans found themselves in, where they didn't think that their incumbents were fighting hard enough, so that their antidote to that was Donald Trump. And that is
Right.
what we are very close to facing right now. If you support interracial marriage, you are in the cusp right now of having a member of the Democratic caucus who does not. If you wanted Kamala Harris elected, you're about to have somebody enter the House who trashed her. You have somebody who trashed Joe Biden by calling him a rapist. I don't know what that is based on, but I suspect that was based on this allegation by a woman who's now living in Moscow saying that he raped her, because nobody else has ever made that allegation.
No, just a woman who just happened to move to Moscow after all of this went down.
Yeah.
And become a citizen of Russia.
So I just want to be very clear here about what is happening. I love this party. I have dedicated my life to it. I did not think this party was doing enough to fight Trump, but this is not the way.
Well, they also, I mean, here's the proof that they're not fighting enough to hold on to whatever it is that our party is. I mean, that's the other piece of this, is I feel like Espaillat, at least having, living in this district, I feel like he swung in very like ninth inning here, realizing that he was in trouble. And I've said this before, that I've not really been a fan of his. I've long felt that he is a sort of do nothing congressperson. Like you don't hear from him. He doesn't show up to party stuff. Like when I was vice president of West Side Dems, and before that, Community Free Dems, which was Nadler's club, like I never saw him. Which, like, fine, okay, but I've long felt that someone should come along and primary him. But what I didn't think should happen is that someone should come along and primary him who calls Joe Biden a rapist and says F Kamala Harris and tells people not to vote in the 2024 election. And by the way, has said incredibly disparaging things about AOC, about Bernie Sanders. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, not to mention going out in the streets on October 8th against Israel. And this is before anybody in the Israeli government or military stepped foot in Gaza. This is like just hours after people had been slaughtered and raped. I hope people go into the New York Times article, the very graphic details of what happened to women on October 7th. And this woman was going out saying that it was all a hoax and it was all a lie. How dare she? I am horrified by this. I am horrified. I don't even know, like, I'm not going to drop all of the F-bombs that I would like to drop right now about this. I'll do it after. I have no words. I have no words, Julie. And one of the things that I've said to so many people in my life, especially New Yorkers, I'm like, I cannot even believe that I'm having to come out here and say this. I cannot even believe that I have to come out and say, please don't vote for this. Please don't vote for this.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not the way. This is not the way.
No.
We should have no crazy parties, but we can have one crazy party and one normal party. We cannot have two crazy parties. Friends, we are the United States of America. We cannot have two crazy parties.
One of the things, so, for anybody who's just joining us for the first time or doesn't know this about me, I used to work at the Lincoln Project for 4 years. I worked with a bunch of Republicans who, in my opinion, were part of the problem that helped build the Republican Party to what it is now. But Donald Trump was the line in the sand, and they said no. And so they left and did something else. And that's what they do now. One of which was Steve Schmidt, who was with the Lincoln Project for a couple of years. And one of the things that he said, and I have a lot of disagreements with Steve Schmidt about a lot of things, but he's usually right about this stuff. And one of the things that he said was, if given the choice between the far left and the far right, people historically will choose far right because they seem tougher, because they seem like more protective. They will not choose far lefty people historically. And Cynthia, I see you. I hear you. I don't even disagree with you, but I'm just telling you what happened. And I've always kept that in the back of my mind. You know, these wins that are, you know, projected to happen for, you know, the backlash to Donald Trump and MAGA are not a guarantee. There are no guarantees in life. There are no guarantees even in November. And what is going to happen is these people are going, if all three of these people, you know, Brad Landers, whatever, but the other two, and if Mamdani gets his wins, this is going to be the lead in every attack ad from the Republican Party going forward in every race. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter who. This is what it's going to be. You thought the squad stuff was bad? This is going to be 10,000 times worse.
Remember what Lindsey Graham said about Donald Trump before he became a wholly owned subsidiary, because he had to be. That is what Brad Landers said about his potentially new colleague, Chevalier.
Hold on one second. What?
Which is that...
I've got it. Thank you.
Which is that these people, Donald Trump destroyed the Republican Party. He destroyed it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the way, friends. This is not the way.
And this is going to make it 10 times harder for somebody like, I mean, I hate to say this, but like John Ossoff to get reelected in November. Yep. It's going to be hard. It's going to make these things 10,000 times harder for Democrats in close races, specifically Senate races, to win.
Yep.
And
yeah,
it's I don't even know what else to say. And you know, I'm very disappointed to see on Indivisible's socials, they were telling people to vote for this woman. Indivisible, the people who are behind the No Kings March and everything else that I've made a couple ads for before I left Seneca Project. I'm starting to feel politically homeless in a lot of ways. Now, again, Julie and I've talked about this at length, right? Is that, you know, we have a lot of shared goals. We have a lot of shared ideologies about affordability and housing and healthcare and all of these things, right? But at what cost do we get these? And these are the same things that the Republican Party went through, right? They had a set agenda that they wanted to get through. And Donald Trump was their useful idiot. And before that was the Tea Party. I will move on here, though, to the 17th District Democratic primary. Kate Conley, I'm very excited to see her in the lead here, although this is kind of an abysmal turnout thus far. It's 30% of the votes in 17. This is Mike Lawler's district. Kate Conley is a veteran. She's fantastic. I interviewed her last year. Very glad to see this. Blake Gendabine, also someone that I interviewed last year. He's a farmer. He lives in upstate or northern New York. He's really been running. He's been running for a long time. He was gonna run against Elise Stefanik before and has stayed in the race. Actually, yeah, when she was going to be nominated to be ambassador to the United Nations, he jumped into the race thinking that there was going to be a special election. And then, you know, this is the other part of the New York 21 primary that is extremely telling. Now, again, this is only 24% of the votes in. Anthony Constantino, they call him the sticker mule. He is a cuckoo pants person. He owns a sticker company. During the 2024 election, spent, I believe, 6 figures or more on, you know, vote for Trump signs on the tops of his buildings. He is not anyone who is qualified to serve in any sort of government position, in my opinion. He is all in on election denial and all kinds of crazy stuff. The fact that he is in the lead right now in this particular district, this is a district that has never elected a cuckoo person before. Have they elected far-right people? I mean, I guess you could say Elise Stefanik went from compassionate conservative to full-on MAGA crazy. But in my lifetime, this district has never elected someone who is outside the norm. So this is very telling. This is very, very telling. I have to wonder, because Kathy Hochul is up for re-election this year. She endorsed Mamdani in the mayoral race, and he endorsed her. But I have to wonder, because she did not endorse any of the candidates that he endorsed in these congressional races, and I feel like there's going to be a fracture there as well. Maybe there won't be, I don't know, but I cannot imagine that she's very happy to see any of this happening today as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm just looking at these numbers coming in right now. Sorry, just to see. It looks like some of these numbers, Michelle, were the numbers reported so far, they think, were the early vote and not the same day vote. So that should shift, and the more engaged voters. So we'll see. I don't know if that's true, but that is what I'm seeing this reporting on.
Okay. Where are you seeing that? Just if you don't mind me asking.
The New York Times. So we will find out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But we will find out. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But look, this is a big show of strength for Zohran Mamdani, and for people from outside New York who are like, oh, I like Zohran Mamdani. He gives a great speech, friends. He gives a great speech. But I will say this: he was elected to be the mayor of New York. I have not seen anything change in New York much, Michelle. I don't know about you, and I don't understand why he's using all of his political capital to divide us in the House instead of sticking to his lane. But as a New York City taxpayer, I am not particularly thrilled that my mayor was spending the day today on this, as opposed to, I don't know, making my subway safer, cleaning up my streets, things like that.
I find this to be incredibly, I don't know, like there's this thing, right, in New York City, everybody always hates the mayor, right? It's like the one thing that kind of unites the city is that everyone kind of hates the mayor. That really hasn't been the case with Mamdani, because he is, well, first of all, in only the first 6 months of his first term, he ran on a populist platform. He's young, he's energetic, he's great on the internet, and for all of those reasons, I was very apprehensive. I will pride myself on the fact that I am good at reading people, and I have a very good bullshit detector, and I have thought bullshit about him since day one. I was like, there's something going on here that I'm not believing it. I just don't believe him. And I was like, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Please prove me wrong. And when Trump came in because I wasn't going to vote at the top of the ticket last November, I just was going to leave it blank. But when Trump swooped in and endorsed Cuomo, I was like, listen, my non-vote cannot help anyone even remotely in the same lane as Donald Trump. So I'm gonna vote for Mamdani. So here we are on June 23rd, and I'm very, 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 very bothered by this. I saw Anthony Scaramucci talk about this also on a podcast recently. I don't know if it was his or someone else's. I just saw the clip online, and he was talking about, he's like, listen, he's like, this coalition, he's like, Mamdani's a very popular mayor. He goes, but this coalition on the far left has no interest in bringing people in on the middle, maybe who have been lost by Trump. They have no interest in building a coalition with anyone really outside of their own.
No, it's MAGA. It's blue MAGA. I mean, understand what's happening right now. And this is really devastating to me, again, as somebody who, I mean, truly, aside from my family, there's one thing I've devoted my life to, it's the Democratic Party. And longer than my husband, longer than my son, because I've just been at it longer than I've known either of them. What is apparent to me is that the party, as it is trending now, is exactly where the Republicans were a decade ago. They're just ahead of us.
Yeah, remember when Eric Cantor lost his race, and it was like,
which is that they are not interested in anything but their viewpoint, and you either submit or you lose. Well, you can't get everybody to submit. No more than Donald Trump can get everybody to submit.
No, there's a ceiling.
So there's a ceiling, right? There's a ceiling. I look at my parents who have the choice this November as lifelong Democrats between somebody who was palling around with a terrorist mastermind who brought down the World Trade Center, has never apologized for it, has never endorsed Chevalier in your district yesterday, Michelle, by saying that, they both oppose AIPAC. And I don't know what that has to do with anything. I mean, I hate AIPAC.
Well, I mean, you can do anything, you can say whatever you want, but as long as you say, I don't like AIPAC, F AIPAC, I don't take AIPAC money, none of it matters. None of it matters.
As though AIPAC is the end all be all. It's not the NRA. It's not the tobacco companies. It's not the
big
AI.
Tech.
It's not big tech. It's AIPAC, right? So they have a choice between that guy and a guy who's going to vote for Mike Johnson for speaker. Now, you look at my 80-something-year-old parents. You're a great example, Michelle. What are you going to do this November? I mean, right? A lifelong Democrat, a progressive, somebody who truly, truly loves this party and has dedicated her career to it. Right? You're being forced to either vote. Well, you have three choices. Either vote for her, a woman who accused Joe Biden of rape, a woman who celebrated the rape or murder of people, somebody who doesn't believe in interracial marriage. I don't know who she's going to vote for speaker, but it's not going to be Donald Trump's guy or Donald Trump's guy.
I can't even answer that question right now, Julie. I can't.
And for people who are like, I vote Democrat always. Okay.
I always have.
I tend to agree. I mean, I've never voted Republican at the federal level ever.
Me neither.
But I also am not going to, I have a very hard time voting for somebody who doesn't believe that if I wanted to, I'm not marrying anybody ever again, but if I were single, if I wanted to marry a Black man, that I shouldn't. What if my son falls in love with an African-American girl and wants to marry her? What are we going to do then? What about the fact that I've dedicated the last decade of my life to the Me Too movement, and I don't subscribe to people exploiting it by using the word rapist unless there's a reason to use it? I don't believe that Joe Biden, well, as far as I know, I don't believe Joe Biden's ever raped anybody. Does she have information that I need to have? If not, why would you throw that kind of word around to diminish the real rapists out there? Right? I mean, and for everybody who's saying, yeah, but it has to be blue no matter who. Well, I mean, that's the rationale that got people to vote for Trump against Hillary on the Republican side. Well, we can't vote for Hillary. I mean, Trump's awful, but my God, we got to vote against Hillary. anybody but Hillary. That's what got Donald Trump in office twice.
Yeah. And a Republican Senate, Republican Congress, or Republican House, rather, which has then led to a majority of the court being conservative. So, and again, like and we talked about this earlier, like this group of folks have a history in not liking one little line in a bill and voting it down and burning it all to the ground because they're not getting everything that they want. And that is not how you represent your district. That is not how you legislate. That is not how you govern. Incremental change and compromise is how you govern. And while, you know, obviously, yes, the Republicans have never agreed to that. I mean, look at what has happened in the last year and a half. I mean, you could go page by page of Project 2025, and I think that they've gotten a great majority of their dreams have come true. And I am afraid that if there is more of this, we are in for a lot more trouble. Because again, I don't know that the majority of the country, the majority of the country doesn't want this. And they don't want the other either. I think that we're looking towards, I mean, here's the thing, and you tell me this, Julie, with your expertise, right? When you have more and more people fleeing both parties, and you have primaries that are deciding the candidates in these two major parties that people are fleeing in closed primaries where people can't just show up and vote in whatever party primary that they want, right? In New York State, we have closed primaries here. And, you know, what happens then if the majority of the country is independent, is not affiliated with any party?
Well, the majority of the country is unaffiliated, but right now. But the problem is that affiliated. I mean, here's what the problem is going to be. The problem is going to be people are going to just tune out. We see, like, I'm loath to bring up Israel because I'm loath to I only use Israel as an example of a country that I always think is like a decade ahead of ours when it comes to their politics, right?
Yeah.
Like Netanyahu showed up about a decade before Trump did. He tried to do all the shit that Trump is doing now. He tried to do it before. So I'm saying all of this just to say, like, if you see what's happening there, the entire country has been hijacked by a crazy extremist cohort. And even now, when Netanyahu is going to lose, and he is, it's not like there used to be two major parties in Israel, right? Labor, roughly, analogous with the Democrats, very roughly, and Likud, which is Netanyahu's party, which was, more conservative, fiscally conservative, much more muscular foreign policy, much more tough on the Palestinians, but not crazy, not like what you're seeing right now.
Right.
Labor's gone, friends. Netanyahu's going to lose, probably, but he's not going to lose to a moderate center-left party. He's going to lose to not even a center-right party, a coalition that is pretty right. It's just not crazy extremist right the way they are right now.
Right.
So that's what happens. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is that Donald Trump, when these people get in office, because he's got no filter,
oh God,
he's going to exploit the shit out of this, so much so that he's going to scare so many people because of what these people espouse. And I don't want to hear this like DSA, oh, you oppose Medicare for all. No, you don't want, or you're like, I want Medicare for all.
Yeah, two things can be true.
Yeah, and I don't like this inequality. And I think on the issues, for the most part, Bernie has been right. And that Hillary and Biden and Obama were a little too incremental and a little bit too cautious in what they were doing.
Yeah, too slow.
100%. But two things could be true at the same time. You can believe that and agree with that, and also understand that that's not what this election is about, right? You're not running two people, one of whom was against Medicare for all and the other was not against Medicare for all. You're running two people, one of whom was endorsed by the mayor of New York because of her views on celebrating October 8th, the day after October 7th.
Right. And who who refused to condemn the words globalize the Intifada, which a lot of Jewish people in the city were very upset about, rightfully so. And I think it's really easy for people who aren't Jewish to say, oh, well, that's not, guys, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm continuing to look at the numbers for the 13th, which is my district.
Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? I think that race is baked, Michelle. Look, Zohran Mamdani had a very good night tonight. He's been around for 6 months. And what happens when you exercise your power this way is people are going to fall in line with him the way they did with Trump. But the problem for him is that he's not Trump. And you are going to, first of all, he's term limited. Second, New York has a habit of eating its own mayors. And, there's a tremendous number of people in the city who are not going to go along with this much longer.
Well, and I've seen quite as for the DSA people who have told me to go F myself or that they hope I die and things like that. There are a bunch of other people who happen to like these candidates who are a little more, I think, level-headed and have said, why did he need to double down on her? He's losing a lot of the support that he gained during, the first 6 months in office. Like, people are seeing this and he's losing support. And I'm like, I'm one of them. Who, again, I did vote for him. And I'm very transparent about the fact that I was very apprehensive in the beginning. I did not rank him on my ranked choice ballot during the primary. However, I did vote for him in the general reluctantly. And, I was like, you know what? He's good. Like, maybe prove me wrong. Like, I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. Right. I don't want to be right about this. I don't want to think that people are slick and insincere, but here we are. I will never trust him again for foisting this crazy person upon my congressional district. And I'm looking at, and there really was a fracture also in the representatives in this area, right? Like, my city council person is close with Espaillat, right? And Mark Levine is on Espaillat's team. And I'm wondering how that's going to go. And all of the kind of the Democratic club infrastructure, if you're not from New York, just so you know, the Democratic clubs they hold a fair amount of power, right? Because they have relationships with the electeds. They do a lot of the petitioning for the electeds. They, there's a, I don't want to say transactional, but there's a relationship there. And it's like, I was vice president of Jerry Nadler's club that he started in 1968. And that club had been around for a very long time and and their endorsement held a lot of weight. I'm wondering how this is going to work out. Like, I don't see Micah getting along with her. Like, that's not going to be a thing. And both being on the west side, oh my God.
Mamdani didn't come for the 12th district where I live.
For a reason.
You know why?
Right.
For a reason. He only came in places where he thought he could win. Now, there was a DSA person running, I believe, in this primary in the 12th. She just had no shot.
No.
And I think
was
that,
and she was not like part of the whole, coalition. Like she was didn't have party support at all. Like she was kind of an unknown.
But I mean, George was, George wasn't from here. He did better than she did. I mean,
well, actually, no, she beat him.
Did she beat George?
So far. Yeah, 85% of the votes in, she's beating him by about 1,000 votes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. It's Michael Lasher, Alex Boris, Jack Schlossberg is way down at 10.8%, and that's at 10,000 votes, and then Nina's at 7,000, and George is a little over 6. So, and the rest is just kind of peppered throughout. I'm also going to look at my assembly district here. So Tom DiNapoli won, comptroller. That's not terribly surprising. Hold on, state senate. I'm trying to find the assembly races here. I am very interested in those because those are also endorsed by the same people. The assembly districts in the state of New York, the same coalitions. Like the Bernie Mamdani candidate in my assembly district, I refused to vote for because, well, that in the long run, obviously, but also because he's aligned with all of like the FanDuel and the DraftKings and all of that, and I don't particularly support gambling and widespread gambling and gambling being everywhere all the time. And I mean, I think that there needs to be a line somewhere, and I certainly don't want casinos in my city. So, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I don't know, Julie. I'm without words. I am without words. They did call it for Kate Conley in the 17th, and they called it for Blake Gendabine in the 21st.
Yeah,
but the Republican primary has not been called for 21st yet.
Okay, I don't know much about that district you do, but that's your home district, right?
Yeah. The Atlantic actually wrote an article about, I think it was the Atlantic, wrote an article about my hometown once, saying that it was the most politically tolerant town in America, and I was like, Have you been there? Did you spend more than 24 hours there? Because that has never been my experience, but okay.
Super white, right, Michelle? Like tolerant, yeah.
Oh my God, incredibly white. I mean, the only diversity that exists in that area comes from a major army base, like Fort Drum is there. That's the only diversity that has ever existed in that area. And trust me, people freaked out when they expanded it. So, because they're like, oh God, these new people. Oh, what are we going to do? Yeah.
Well, that's good, Michelle, because pretty soon interracial marriage will not be legal, either thanks to the Supreme Court or thanks to your new Congresswoman. We'll see.
I actually kind of can't even believe what I'm looking at right now.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what else there is to say, other than I think this is actually a awful night for the future of our party. For people who think this is about Israel, or people who think this is about new blood, you could not be more mistaken. It is about an extremist blue Anon MAGA type of influence taking over the Democratic Party. It is, you're absolutely right, Michelle. It is going to hurt Jon Ossoff. It is going to hurt Sherrod Brown in Ohio. And if it doesn't hurt them this year, understand that by the time these people get into power next year, on either side, and gum up the works for whoever the speaker is, because they will do to him or her what the crazies on the right are doing to gum up everything, except there, Donald Trump can step in and slap them down. Here, there's not going to be anybody to slap them down.
By the way, the DSA candidate in my assembly district, my state assembly district, has won.
Okay, well, there you go. So it's just, this, if you care about winning elections, not just in your little universe, if you care about uniting the country, if you care about a Democratic Party beyond this year, because the Democrats will probably do very well this year, this is not a good night.
I'm afraid that is going to give us I don't say us, I mean those people, a false sense of security.
Yep. It is, in the same way that 2016 gave the Republicans a false sense of security until 2018 came along.
Yeah.
We have a presidential election to worry about, folks, in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
An election that Donald Trump will do everything possible to steal, either himself, if he's alive, or on behalf of, or the dam is broken. The Republicans will do everything they can to steal it. And
yeah,
this is not going to help. This is not going to help. And for anybody who thinks, well, Cynthia, we can't be the old party anymore, we must listen to the changing times. I'm not talking about the issues. I'm talking about how you govern. And you govern, in my experience, by addition and not subtraction.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans govern by subtraction. You don't want to be with Donald Trump 100%? You're a rhino, get the F out.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, once he is dead, the party is going to be in shambles.
I mean, look at the way that the DSA and the progressive people come into our chat and talk to us. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm like. These are not people who are interested in addition. These are not people who are interested in building a coalition. These are people who are only interested in saying, get the F out.
Well, listen, if you want to come into our chat and talk to us that way, that's great. I mean, you're not going to change our minds, so I don't know who you're talking to, but, go ahead. I mean, I guess, go for it.
No, I know. I mean, I'm just using that as an example of just like, it's a very similar, mindset.
Yeah. So look, I think what we need to do here, and Carrie Grace, have we checked the money trail between Israel and politics? What money trail? What money trail? It is illegal if you're a foreign national to donate to political campaigns. Are you talking about Jews and politics? Because American citizens who are Jews are able to donate. Have you checked the money trail between Qatar and our universities? Have you checked the money trail?
Qatar and independent media companies?
Independent media companies? Some of which are doing very, very well in Substack, and some somehow are, rocketed to the very top of the Substack charts, because they take money that they will not disclose, but I know happens to be from Gulf states.
Mm-hmm.
Have you checked who's funding these protests on college campuses? Because it ain't the Israelis, friends.
Alex said, at least Live Golf failed. Amen. The Saudi-backed trying to break up the PGA failed miserably. It's the only good thing we got going for us, guys. That's it. And to the Daily Ghost, that New York City is an anomaly. It's not the rest of the country. No. And the DSA won't be so popular in Texas. No, it will not. However, this will be an albatross.
Believe me, they're about to become very famous in Texas.
Yes.
Believe me, through James Tallarico, you're not having a good night tonight because of what's happening 5,000, 4,000? How many miles is New York City from Austin, Texas?
A whole bunch of miles. Yeah.
Pretty far. This is not helpful to you. If you're Alex Vindman in Florida, it is not helpful to you.
Good.
If you're Sherrod Brown, Ohio, this is not helpful to you. At a time when you're trying to win by addition in really complicated red states, not helpful.
And guys, I mean, I hope people listen to you because, guys, Julie has been running campaigns for 30 years in the Democratic Party. She's not just a pundit. She's not just a commentator coming on here and just like spewing, opinions. Like, this comes from decades of experience and looking at crosstabs and running messages and debate prep and everything else. Like, Julie knows what she's talking about. You should listen to her.
I really do, you guys. I really know how to win elections. I do. Or at least I did until this year. And this year, some very, very, very bizarre things happened. You're screwed on the AIPAC side because of some horrible decisions that AIPAC made, because people they don't think are loyal enough to Israel. And then you're screwed on the left because people think that if you are not out there making Israel the central thesis of your entire existence, which, by the way, believe me when I tell you, I sit in a billion focus groups. I look at poll after poll. I look at polls. I look at least one poll a week. I'm not joking. Probably more. So about 52 polls a year, probably closer to 60. And I promise you, on all that is holy, that nobody gives a fuck about Israel in the real world. They just don't. But for some reason,
most people couldn't find it on a map.
That has become the animating force in the Democratic primaries, both from the AIPAC perspective and the anti-AIPAC perspective.
Yep. Most people care about climate policy and healthcare and affordability and grocery prices and gas prices. And like, are they going to be able to pay off their student loans? Are they going to be able to put their kids through school? Like, are they going to be able to pay their rent? Are they going to be able to pay their mortgage? Am I ever going to be able to retire? These are the questions that the American people are asking themselves and the people who represent them, not the rest of this shit. And I want to bring this up too, because John K2277 says, and the fact that Valdez and Daraliza multiple times refused to comment when asked about Ukraine aid, they will vote with the Republicans on foreign policy. Folks, I am telling you right now, that was another thing that really bothered me about her, was the fact that she was parroting Russian propaganda. And she was denigrating the people of Ukraine. This is who is going to represent the 13th district in New York. The solidly Democratic district that I have lived in for a decade. I cannot believe it. Because you want to know one of the things that I care about a whole lot, as I know Julie does too, is Ukraine. Ukraine, I mean, at face value and what is happening to the people of Ukraine, but also as it pertains to the safety of Western democracy for Europe, the United States, anybody who cares about democracy. Because what stands between us and everybody else is Ukraine. And everybody should give a shit about it.
And what you should know is that Daraliza has not just refused, she actually blamed the Ukrainians for what happened to them. She was parroting word for word Russian propaganda. This is like what we're seeing right now is the magnification of the Democratic Party in real time. You may not like it. You may be telling me vote blue no matter who. You may be saying all of this. Remember how smug we all were looking at Republicans. Looking at Republicans and saying, oh, look at them. They're so full of shit. They can't bring themselves to not vote for Trump. They keep saying vote red no matter what, or whatever that phrase was, because, oh my God, at least she's not Hillary.
Right.
At least he's not Hillary. Right? Yes, Donald Trump is disgusting. And yes, he grabs women by the pussy. And yes, he's gone bankrupt 100 times. And yes, he's got these women accusing him of sexual assault. And yes, he's a horrible human being and he treats people like shit. But you know what? At least he's going to give me my tax breaks.
Yep.
Remember how we sat there and we were so smug looking at these Republicans and saying, why aren't more of them speaking up?
Yeah.
Friends,
like, how can they look around? Like, how can they get in line behind this guy?
Yeah. How can they live with themselves? Friends, no more being smug. It is now or never. Now is the time to speak up, and it is to vote. Now is the time. Because otherwise, we will have no excuse. No excuse. What issues do you care about? What issues do you care about? Take Israel out of the equation. Do you care about affordability? Do you care about the war in Iran? Do you care about aid to Ukraine? What do you care about? And then ask yourself if these people care about it too.
John Kay is saying, and sorry, go ahead.
Well,
no, I don't know if this is true or not. I was going to ask you if you knew or not. I'm assuming it is, but that Omar voted against Ukraine aid. I don't know if she did or not, but
I saw that. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm telling you, think about who you're voting for. For people like Carrie who say we only care about stopping this authoritarian regime. Yeah, me too. But I also care about replacing it with not our own version of an authoritarian regime. I care about this country. I care about having normal conversations with people where if I disagree with them, we don't automatically assume that we're the scum of the earth. Believe it or not, there used to be a time back in the day when we used to disagree with people on politics and not call them monsters, which is what Zohran Mamdani just called a massive number of fellow New Yorkers because they support Israel.
And just to say, Ilhan Omar casts lone Democratic no vote on Ukraine aid and the Russia sanctions package.
Well, she's not going to be the lone one now.
And that was on June 5th of this year. That was just a couple weeks ago.
She's not going to be the only one.
Oh, God. What are we going to do?
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take this party back before they hijack it all the way. I am more committed than ever to that. I think the problem is that you had people like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, who I, with every passing moment, know is not running again because there's no way he can after this. They sat there and dicked around for 2 years. And wrote, you know, nasty letters, nasty grams.
Strongly worded letters. Yeah.
Instead of just shutting that shit down.
Yep.
You shut that shit down. You don't give them a vote for anything. You don't vote for the button. You don't come to a deal with these people.
No, you can't you don't compromise or negotiate with terrorists. I mean, and that's what we're dealing with here. Yeah, and Julie and I, if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, know that we've been talking about that for a very long time. Like, somebody come in and primary these people because we've had enough of this shit, because we were up against the downfall of American democracy. Like, this is serious shit.
Primary them with people like this. That's the thing. You don't primary them with people who don't believe in fucking interracial marriage. I'm sorry. Who celebrate the rapes and the murders of women and children and seniors the day after they happen.
Literally,
And
the bodies are still warm.
He calls somebody else the fucking monster. The mayor who endorsed this woman. I mean, come on.
Scorched earth, Julie.
Come on. I mean, it's just insane who we are electing to office as a result of this. And if you want to know who I blame for this, I blame Hakeem Jeffries because he didn't do jack shit. He allowed this cancer to occur.
Correct.
By
Correct.
not giving people an outlet, he allowed somebody else like Zohran Mamdani to come along and give them that outlet. And that's what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Anna Welsi, you're done with me. Get over myself. I mean, you don't have to tell me to get over myself. You could just log off.
Who's saying? Where is that? At Substack?
Substack chat. Like,
all right, goodbye, Anna. You don't have to be here. Like, you have the freedom to actually X out of the box.
There are plenty of other people. There are plenty of other people on tonight who've never ran a goddamn race in their life,
who have a lot of opinions.
Who have a lot of opinions, and I'm sure you could watch them.
Yeah. By all means, go watch the stuff that makes you feel good and right.
Yeah, I'm positive that there are people out there who are going to tell you what you want to hear. It's going to be bullshit, but they're going to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah. And that's not going to be us. So goodbye, Anna.
Bye, Anna. See ya. Bye-bye. See ya.
We're not your people.
Yep. And no, I would not vote for Susan Collins.
Oh, come on. Like, this is where I'm just kind of like, please.
We're talking about primaries here. Do you understand? We're talking about primaries here.
Jesus Christ, people.
No, we're not going to vote for Susan Collins. If we lived in Maine, I would not vote for Susan Collins. I would vote for the fucking guy that carved a fucking swastika bullshit, whatever it was, on his chest. The guy was accused of misbehavior with women. Yes, I guess I would hold my nose and vote for that guy. But I resent the hell out of having to be forced to make that choice.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's where the anger comes from. Correct.
Yes. Would I vote for John Fetterman over Dr. Oz, knowing what I know now? Yes, I would. But you know what? I resent having to make that choice if he's the Democratic nominee again in Pennsylvania.
Right. Like, that's the best we can do? Really? Yeah. And also just like this, like, oh, you're going to vote for Susan Collins. Like, grow up. Please. Welcome to the conversation that literally we've been having for a year and a half. My feeling about it is, again, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. I mean, insane. Like, you're going to come here, you tell me you're done with me. You don't have to tell me, just be done with me. It's fine.
I love people. I love people online.
Yeah. The beauty of our relationship here, friends, is we're not married to each other. Like, you don't have to serve me with divorce papers. You could just bye-bye.
I know. It's always the people who are like unfollowing. Like, you don't need to announce.
Oh, I know. I wrote this thing today, and literally some person wrote me something. He's like, "That's it. I'm unfollowing you."
Okay. Bye.
All right. I never knew you were following me, but bye-bye. I mean, guys, this is what you don't understand. Like, I'm thrilled to have the supporters. I'm thrilled to have the viewers. I'm thrilled to have the readers. We're so deeply grateful that you're here. But if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here.
Yeah. And you don't need to bully us into saying things that you want to hear. Like, that's the other part of this. And I'm not going to be told that I'm a bad person because I think differently than you.
It's not even different. Like, I'm telling you what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that we're going to likely have a good November. And then the next 2 years are going to be an unmitigated fucking disaster. And it's going to start on January 2nd when Congress reconvenes and has to vote for the next speaker.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be the Kevin McCarthy all over again.
It's going to be Kevin McCarthy all over again.
And what's Kevin McCarthy doing right now? He's not in Congress anymore. He was like, he left. And Kevin McCarthy
the only reason Mike Johnson is speaker now and continues to be is because Donald Trump is forcing him on the conference. But understand, there is no Donald Trump in our party.
Oh. Chaos.
So who do you think is going to force the next speaker on? I don't know. If there's let's say there's a 10 margin, God willing, there's a 10 margin House majority in January.
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, I can now think of 10 people going to the House who are not going to vote for Hakeem Jeffries.
No, and are very likely not to caucus with the Democrats on things like aid to Ukraine.
Yeah.
The country that we promised we would protect and defend.
In 1993, we promised them. We gave them our word. Bill Clinton gave them our word.
Give up your nukes. We will be there to protect you till the end of time.
And kidding. Aaron, do I have any idea who could be speaker if not Hakeem Jeffries? Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah, apparently he runs everything now.
Apparently he runs everything now. So what's going to happen is that Zohran Mamdani is going to have a voice in who the next speaker is going to be. And if it's Hakeem Jeffries, it's because Hakeem Jeffries is going to go and bend the knee to Zohran Mamdani.
Hmm?
Or better yet, ask Bernie Sanders.
Ugh.
Who's going to determine that.
Who is much more of a follower than he is a leader, quite frankly.
100%. I just spoke to somebody who used to work for him who said the exact same thing. Bernie Sanders is 100% a windsock, which sees which way the progressive wind is blowing and gets there first.
Mm-hmm. Jane from Pittsburgh. Why don't they want to support Ukraine? Julie?
Well, friends, believe it or not, it's not like Soviet disinformation is just, or Russian disinformation is just on the right. They're also in the algorithms of the extreme left.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Do you remember after October 7th, there was a whole lane on TikTok, a whole algorithm that was telling young people, I say young people like an old person, telling the Gen Z crowd that Osama bin Laden was just very misunderstood.
Yep.
And I remember seeing like a supercut of all these clips, and I was like, what is happening?
Yep.
So it's 10:27, everybody. I think we've got the answers here tonight. They still have not called 13, but it's with 86% of the votes in. Daria Lisa Chevalier is at 49.3%. Espiat is at 46. I don't know how many more. Yeah, I know.
I'll call it, friends. It's all the outstanding votes are Manhattan. I'll call it. It's over.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm looking at this guy named Theo Chino who's running. Hold on. I just need to throw this up here because this guy, no one's going to think this is funny except for me. This guy, Theo Chino, who has gotten 519 votes. He shows up to every Democratic club, luncheon, he's got mailers. He calls everybody. I'm telling you, he has run every single race, every single primary for the last 20 years. He's that guy. When I saw Theo Chino was on the ballot today, I go, huh? Again? And Joe and I looked at each other and started laughing. He's like, Theo Chino. And I was like, why? But there's 519 votes that could have gone to Espaillat. And that pisses me off. I mean, everybody has a right to run, but like, good God. I'm like, that guy, come on. Again.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Some inside West Side stuff. Yeah.
And listen, so much of this I blame also on Nancy Pelosi, who I love more broadly, but
yeah,
she She kept the AOCs down. She and Jeffries worked overtime not to give her House oversight. They gave it to what's his name who dropped dead.
That was stupid. That was very stupid not to give that to her.
Again, when you don't give people an outlet, guess what happens? And no, Jay, there is not always the Green Party, because those people delivered the election
to George Bush.
No, well, to George Bush, but also to Donald Trump. Let's not forget.
Oh, that too, right. Jill Stein.
The Green Party nominates Jill Stein, who spends all her free time hanging out with Vladimir Putin in Moscow.
Yeah. And then she disappears for 4 years, right?
She disappears for 4 years, then comes back. So that's the Green Party. So no, listen, we're not abandoning the Democratic Party. I'm not walking away from the Democratic Party, to be clear. I'm not walking away from the Democratic Party.
No, I think we've got.
I'm not letting these people hijack the Democratic Party, who came here 5 minutes ago and decided they were going to take it over. I mean, Bernie Sanders is still not a Democrat, by the way. Potentially the most influential person in the Democratic Party right now, except for Zohran Mamdani, who, as far as I know, joined the Democratic Party 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Wait, who Mamdani?
He wasn't even a citizen. Yeah, he wasn't even a citizen.
I think he became a citizen in 2019, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know. So, and then tell us why Jasmine Crockett loves AIPAC. I don't know that Jasmine Crockett loves AIPAC. I don't know why AIPAC has to.
Who loves AIPAC? I'm just kind of like, huh?
Question.
Does anyone know what AIPAC is?
Who gives a shit about AIPAC? I'm sorry. Again, I'm so tired of having the same discussion, but we're bringing this up again. Do you not give a shit about the price of food out there? Do you not give a shit about how much it costs to fill up your gas tank? Do you not care there's a war going on in Iran? Do you not care that we're giving all of our tremendous billions of dollars worth of military aid to Saudi Arabia that is committing a genocide in Yemen, or was committing a genocide in Yemen that costs the lives of over 100,000 women and children? Do you not care about Medicare? Do you not care about healthcare? Do you not care about the fact that your mom's about to be thrown out of the nursing home because they're gutting the shit out of Medicaid as soon as this election's over in November? That's going to kick in the big beautiful bill, that part of the big beautiful bill. Because I haven't heard about any of that. All I hear about in my chat, all I hear about in these fucking primaries is
AIPAC.
I hate AIPAC. I have more reason to dislike AIPAC than all of you. I hate AIPAC. Yeah. AIPAC has made it more difficult and dangerous for me as a Jew to exist. So I'm telling you that I hate AIPAC. It has become 100% a wholly owned subsidiary of Trump's donors and a wholly owned subsidiary of this extremist, racist, supremacist government in Israel. And despite that, I say to you that there are bigger things going on in the fucking world, including in my life and in all of our lives, than AIPAC. Stop saying AIPAC unless you really mean Jews, because you don't even know what the hell you're talking about with AIPAC. What are you talking about? How is AIPAC, in fact, tell me how AIPAC is impacting your life. When you go to the store, are you spending more money or less money because AIPAC? When you have to go to a nursing home, or your mom has to go to a nursing home, or your mom has to get treatment for Alzheimer's, which is being cut, or cancer, which is being cut, or somebody's bleeding out because they're having a miscarriage and the doctor won't touch them because she or he is afraid that they're going to be incarcerated, or because somebody needs IVF and can't get it because they're about to pass laws banning in vitro fertilization. Tell me what AIPAC is doing about that.
Oof. Julie, do you want to address this last comment on here?
Yes, AIPACs are Zionists, not Jews. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. AIPAC is an organization. And by the way, I hate it. I hate it. It's a fucking political act. Actually, it's not a PAC. It's an organization.
Yeah.
And we can go down the road of Zionist. I mean, I'm so tired. You know what?
I know. You know what? I'm just gonna.
Can I tell you something about this? You should have tuned in this afternoon. We had a whole show about this. I'm not going down this road again. If you want to listen to my views on this and Michelle's views on this, I invite you to go to our YouTube channel and the Mayday Network, click play, and watch our most recent video. How about that? Mm-hmm. It's about Tucker Carlson.
You know, and I just want to say also that, like, while we are experiencing this surge of anti-Semitism on the left, like, this president's second term began within hours of the richest man in the world throwing a Heil Hitler salute up in front of an arena of his supporters, and nobody did a goddamn thing.
Okay, Anna Welty, what do you think about Ben-Gvir saying that for every tear of an Israeli mother should be reflected by the tears of 1,000 other mothers? What do I think about that? I think it's fucking psychotic and psychopathic. I think it's a fucking genocidal, horrible thing to say. That's what I think. What's your point? What's your point? And still, I ask you a question, since you happen to know who Itamar Ben-Gvir is. How are you doing with the price of food in your supermarket right now? How's that gas tank looking for you when you try to fill it up? You feel comfortable going down south and while pregnant in the event that you have a miscarriage? You have anybody in your life who wants to get pregnant but can't because they need IVF? Got your mom or anybody else close to you who needs to go to a nursing home who won't be able to afford to go to one? You got any healthcare bills that you can't afford to pay? You worried about putting your kid through college? Why do you know who Itamar Ben-Gvir is, and why are there more questions about him in this chat than about any of the things that I just mentioned?
Like that's another thing, and I would actually like to talk about this at some point, how the Republicans and the judiciary, the Heritage Foundation, and Project 2025 have had IVF on the chopping block for years, and they are very, very close to making it impossible for women and families to try and start families and have children in this country who struggle.
Oh, but wait, Michelle, we can't talk about that because we should talk about straw men that people are throwing up to try to play gotcha with us about Itamar fucking Ben-Gvir. You're not going to find any supporters of Itamar Ben-Gvir on this channel. Okay? But the fact that you're asking us about that, which is a complete and utter fucking straw man, instead of the things that Michelle just mentioned, is exactly
which are deeply, deeply, deeply personal to me.
Yes. Deeply personal to me as well. I actually got pregnant through IVF. If not IVF, I would not be a mom. But it's okay, because why talk about that? Why talk about it? I know somebody who is pregnant. She's not even in a high-risk pregnancy. And her husband asked if she wanted to go to Florida for vacation over the winter, and she said no. She was worried that in the event she had any kind of miscarriage or any kind of bleeding or anything like that, she was afraid to travel there because she was worried she was going to die because the doctor would not save her baby or her. But why talk about that in primaries when we could talk about AIPAC, Michelle? Right? Why not Ukraine? You care so much about the genocide happening in Israel? This woman, Chevalier, who's whatever her name is, who's about to go to Congress? Why not the genocide happening in Ukraine? Because it doesn't involve Jews? Right? Why not the genocide that our friends, the Saudis, of the hacking somebody to death with a fucking hacksaw? Why not them? Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about all the money we give them?
Oh, I'm angry.
Why has nobody talked about what ICE is doing across the river from New York City? Why is there more sympathy for people in Gaza, which I share, than there is for the people of color who are being locked up at Delaney Hall across the Hudson River from the district where this woman is running? Why is Zohran Mamdani not taking his taxpayer-funded cars, all three of them, really it's two until he decides to bring a third one along for the candidate of his choice today, drive it across the Holland Tunnel, hang a right, and go to Delaney Hall? Where is he? Why is he not at Delaney Hall? Oh, I'm sorry. Is that because that's a federal issue? Where is he? Where is he? And why is nobody in this chat talking about these issues? But why is there a question about AIPAC in every fucking show we do? And not
Every
just
time.
one, like 100.
Every time.
Every time. Oh, it's raining outside today. Oh, you know what? That's got to be AIPAC, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be AIPAC. Listen, AIPAC gets trashed more in our chats than Donald Trump does. Do you guys understand how psychotic we've all become on this? I mean, come on. Look at this chat. I invite anybody here to go into this chat and scroll up on either Substack or on YouTube and see how many times somebody's invoked AIPAC or Itamar Ben-Gvir or something to do with Israel. A country which most people cannot find on the map, a country which most people have never been to, a country which most people have never gave one moment of thought to for a very long time, until suddenly it ended up in everybody's feeds and everybody's algorithms, and nobody stopped to think, oh, I wonder where that's coming from.
Yeah.
I wonder why my favorite independent journalist, who's not so independent, potentially, I wonder who's funding that person. I wonder if that's why that person talks about Israel more than that person talks about any of the issues that I just mentioned.
Yep.
Think about that. Think about that. And then think about what this party has become as a result of that.
And to people asking where these comments happen, they happen here. They happen on Substack. We have great moderators here at the Mayday Network who we love and are so grateful to, including my own snappy hand and Julie's quick hand in deleting and banning people. But like, it's constant. Constant.
And I don't want to talk about this anymore because as I said, I invite you to watch our show from earlier this afternoon.
And I'm tired. I'm honestly so tired of talking about it. Not that it doesn't matter, but I'm tired of talking about it because there are, to your point, Julie, there are so many other things that are affecting us every single day. Life and death shit happening to over half the population of the United States are losing their rights as we speak.
Yep. I mean, do you guys not understand what they want you focused on so that you're not focused on the things that they don't want you focused on? Don't you think that they would rather have you talking about AIPAC than talking about all the other issues that we just talked about? Because if we unite around those issues and we're all united around those issues, they lose. But if we're fighting amongst each other about a country that is 7,000 miles away, and I don't want to hear about, well, yes, but they're committing genocide. The Russians are committing genocide. The Saudis are committing genocide. The Iranians are committing genocide. We're about to give $300 billion to Iran. $300 billion to Iran. And yet I'm still hearing about AIPAC. $300 billion to Iran. Why has that not been in any chat that I've been on in the last, I don't know, since that deal was announced?
It's not a convenient topic to own.
No, because then we don't get united on it. Yes, because then you wouldn't feel so virtuous. You should feel virtuous opposing this Iran deal for the very basic point that it got us nothing except higher gas prices and a terrorist regime that is now going to use that $300 billion, not for the reconstruction that they said they're going to use it for. They're going to use it to reconstruct their ballistic missile sites. They're going to use it to reconstruct their nuclear program. And they're going to use it to fund their terror proxies. Yes, indeed, Hamas and Hezbollah. In addition to everywhere else.
They've called, the New York Times has called it for Chevalier.
Yeah. Yep. So, that's where we are. That's where we are. But by all means, elect somebody like her. Enjoy. The beauty of my and Michelle's life is, hey, Michelle, I'm not going to ever have an interracial marriage because I'm married and so are you. But for anybody else who is single or has children like I do and wants them to love who they love, this is who you just elected. Why? Because AIPAC. Anybody who gives a shit about Ukrainian babies being kidnapped and taken across the border and re-educated, about missiles dropping on Kyiv and killing civilians, about a genocide that is truly happening, well, that's okay because that genocide doesn't count according to the woman that Zohran Mamdani just got elected. Mm-hmm. For anybody who thinks rape is a serious allegation and that there are real rapists in this world who need to be held accountable, and so that we diminish their crimes by accusing anybody willy-nilly that we disagree with of rape, well, that's who you just got elected. For anybody that thinks that Donald Trump was the worst president in history and that Kamala Harris, despite what you may disagree with her on, and yes, that includes Israel, was head and shoulders above him, well, you just elected somebody who doesn't believe that there is much of a difference. And yes, Ann Carmack, we can agree, and we don't ignore that there are people in Gaza who are suffering because of Benjamin Netanyahu. But my God, is that really what we're deciding these elections on? And is that really the most important thing in people's lives?
Because it will be the top campaign issue for the far, 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 far right. For the Tucker Carlsons of the world. I mean, even here, we're watching the chat and it's anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism. Like, it's crazy. And with that, that's all I got tonight.
All right, friends. It is good to see you, Michelle. I'm going to get some sleep and maybe be a little bit less pissed off. Friends, I'm going to just say this to you. I'm a very big believer in the First Amendment. I'm a very big believer in people bringing the issues that they care about to these chats. If you are looking to bash Israel
or Jews,
well, different, right? If you're looking to bash Israel, that's okay. You can go ahead and do that. Even on this channel, you can go ahead and do that. But please, before you do, think about the difference between bashing the Israeli government and blaming everything bad in the world on AIPAC, which is not even in the top 10 or 20 of money being spent. Understand that Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and all of their aligned PACs are making AIPAC look like a little tiny creek compared to the Pacific Ocean of what they're spending. And yet none of us are talking about that. And if you want to know why Michael Lasher won today and Alex Boris lost today, one of the reasons is because Palantir spent a fucking fortune beating Alex Boris because he said he wanted to regulate AI. And yet nobody talks about that. But they did talk about AIPAC. AIPAC spent less in these districts by far than Palantir spent in my own home district trying to defeat somebody who wanted to regulate AI. So, you know, I don't have a problem with you guys talking about Israel if that's where your head is, but please just check yourself. Not everything in the world is about AIPAC.
It's psychotic.
It is psychotic how obsessed people are with AIPAC. Psychotic.
It's all very Jews control the media. Like it's the same, like kind of, it's this conspiratorial like mindset. And also AIPAC as an entity sucks. And like, it's just like, I feel like we're just chasing our tail here, you know, trying to say this. And like, it's like either people don't listen, they don't want to listen, they don't want to hear you, or they don't believe you, or they just love to hear the sound of their own voices. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Yes, Johnny, it's the new version of the whole Soros thing. Yes. You know how the right is always like George Soros, because of that. That is this. This is the George Soros line for the left. It's the boogeyman. That's funny is that George Soros actually is like, I mean, not a bad guy. Like it's just,
I mean,
AIPAC sucks.
If you guys want to know about George Soros, when I was running a super PAC in support of a candidate who AIPAC was coming after with everything they were worth, Alex Soros, his organization, gave us a ton of money to oppose AIPAC. But yet, if you are on the right, Soros equals Jew. If you're on the left, AIPAC equals Jew. Do you guys understand how that works?
And just FYI, for anybody who says, I'm drinking wine, I'm not drinking wine. This is a probiotic soda. It's just in a fancy glass so that I feel fancy. That is all. This is not wine. But if it was, that would be fine too.
Yeah. And the Daily Ghost, you said, I'm always referring to the Israeli government, no exceptions. I would like to... I would think most people here are like that, but maybe I missed some chats. You missed a lot of chats. Believe me, that's not what most people who comment about AIPAC are like.
Nope.
So please, all right, like I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want to talk about AIPAC anymore. I'm sick of this discussion. I'm sick of having these conversations. I'm tired of it. Like I believe that there are many, many, many more important things to talk about. I also believe that the reason that we have these disasters entering the House of Representatives this year, and neither Michelle nor I were fans of Esbayat whatsoever.
No.
Yeah. But not like this. Not with this.
No way, man. No way.
Not with this. And I will give you a little preview of what's to come. There was a DSA aligned candidate. I don't know if she was endorsed by DSA. Actually, I know her well. I like her. I don't agree with her on some stuff, but I like her, named Ana Lilia Mejia, who ran in the first special election, general election of the year back in February. It was for Mikey Sherrill's seat in New Jersey, a vacant seat. She believes that Israel is engaging in a genocide and so on and so forth, and you know all the things. And she tremendously underperformed. It's a Democratic seat. She won her seat, but tremendously underperformed in places that with a, you know, very, very, very Democratic places with a high Jewish population. I say that to you to say that that's a Democratic seat and she'll win it. But she won it and she will win it again in November. But if you're looking at swing districts, This is not the way to win. You do not win by subtraction. You win by addition. Always, always, always by addition. That's all I want to leave people here with. And this is not by addition. This is winning. This is winning by subtraction.
And you win elections by building coalitions, and like that's not this. Not by a long shot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And Connie, don't keep talking about it. Move on. It's a contrived MAGA wedge issue. Well, I would stop talking about it if that's not what people voted on. But unfortunately, that's what people voted on tonight. So there you go. If you want to blame somebody for that wedge, that would be the mayor of New York, who apparently only has one priority in his life, and that is sticking it to anybody who even remotely supports the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state, which he does not, as he has said repeatedly. Yes, Johnny, I would love to pivot to Danza. At this point, I would say, you know what? This is how strongly I feel about this. I would take Tony Danza.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I would rather hang out with Tony Danza outside of that stupid restaurant where he sings every Sunday from now till the end of the year, than hang out with these people. That's how strongly I feel about this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, friends. We will see you all tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Michelle and I are doing a for our paid subscribers on Substack. We are doing a AMA, a weekly AMA at 10 a.m. Michelle, is that what we said? I forgot when we said.
I think so. Yeah. 10.
So we will see you guys there if you want to join us. And everybody else, we will see you soon. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.